For that, the first step in finding a jury to decide the fate of the Parkland school shooter begins on Monday, and attorneys today argued over what they will be asked. NBC6 reporter Tony Pipitone was in court and is live now at the Broward County Courthouse, where thousands of potential jurors have been summoned. Tony.
Yet 2,800 summonses, to be exact, have gone out, asking Broward County residents to show up here next week to do their civic duty. Now, on a normal week, only about up to 40% actually show up, but that would be 1,100 people showing up here next week, and they will find out it's not a normal week. For the first time today, the killer saw in session the courtroom where 12 people could decide how quickly he dies in a Florida prison. Attorneys argued over what potential jurors will be asked. The defense had its ideas, but the state objected.
These are all defense-oriented questions.
Questions that would be asked by the judge in this early stage.
These are obviously biased questions for the defense.
Questions like whether the person knew of the specific mental health issues the killer will claim supports sparing his life. Another was to ask whether they or their family had sought prior mental health treatment.
The defense has the courage to ask that, let them ask it. But that's not a question that the state would go into that kind of questioning of a juror.
The judge agreed.
Wouldn't that be protected for them to have to answer whether or not they've sought treatment or services of a psychiatrist?
And they can choose not to answer, and they can try to talk to us in private.
No, Judge Elizabeth Shearer ruled she will not be asking that, though the defense can later if it wants. But on another point, the judge sided with the defense.
We think it is an appropriate question to ask these prospective jurors whether they have heard anyone express their opinion about what the appropriate sentence should be in this case.
And just because they heard someone express that opinion or even have an opinion themselves, that doesn't mean they can get off the jury. They'll just be asked to say whether they can set that aside and focus on the evidence and the law in reaching a conclusion about whether he lives or dies, because remember, he's already pled guilty. So this proceeding will only determine that. The jury in Florida now must be unanimous if someone is going to go to the death chamber. Reporting live in Fort Lauderdale, Tony Pipitone, NBC6 News.